Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Cinema.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And welcome to another rambling review where we give you more reviews of more games in one video.
Yes, today we have 3 more games coming up for you.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm asking the audience, so I have to wait for them to comment and then we will continue.
Yes.
Good! Now we
Perfect.
are back. We're gonna start with the first one. This is a Kickstarter that we backed called Vivid Memories. This is an abstract tile laying game where you draft tiles and you try to place them in your memory in the best way possible to score different memory tiles. You try to make threads of memories with the same color and also score by putting those threads into the outside of your memory and score points, because points are best and we are abstract with themes like abstract games are, but that's what you're doing in this game. It's a pretty straightforward. You go over your draft and you place them and you can do some small actions and you try to do it. It's very hard and limited puzzle wise. Is it fun? I don't know, or I do know, but I don't know what you think about Vivid Memories. I do know some of it, but I don't know exactly what you're gonna say, so Please say something.
Umbrella. Did you see that one coming?
I did not. So your rating for Vivid Memories is one umbrella.
Yes. No, I think there are some cool things in this game. Like the drafting in itself isn't that interesting.
It's not.
But it might be interesting, but because suddenly if you take all the fragments of some tile, I don't know what the name is, then you get that, and it's an ability which you have to place in the slot of another ability. So basically you're losing to gain another ability.
Yes.
And
or action, because you just get to do it once. Yeah.
And when you have done that action, then you get a possibility for a scoring. So getting a lot of them might be good if you can score all of them, but if you're stuck with a lot of scorings that you can't use, then you have a lot fewer actions for the next turn. And those actions are very crucial to get the fragments where you want to put it, to score things and also to link things. So that what do you call it, when to get these tiles with the actions, very interesting.
Yeah, I think that the drafting in itself is kind of okay. You can either take one and then you can do like a special ability. You can take 2 of the same color or 3 different colors. So most of the time it's not a hard choice when it comes to me, because I know, I need these colors, and the colors are the ones I need. So the hard thing is that you can only always place things in an empty space. So when I take 1 and then take 2 next time, I can't place them in the same space. So trying to manipulate them, get them into the same space or get them into the right spaces where you want them to is a hard thing to do, especially when you have very few actions and only kind of like 2 of them gets you to manipulate the placement of them. But then you get to take, when you only draft 1, you get to do like a kind of, you get to move some things around. So then you get to take fewer pieces, but you get to manipulate more pieces on your board. I think the game is fun. I think the puzzle is fun. I think that I had the most fun the first time I played it, and then the next times I played I had fun. But it is the same puzzle.
Yeah,
For me, I am basically doing the same thing. It's not almost like you can have like some variations, but it's not like, I'm not going to do any trades this turn. I'm not going to try to get the 18 points on the second turn to get like 36 points for that for 2 rounds. You are going to do that because that's a lot of points. When you end up getting like 120, 140 points for the end, if you get 36 points for that, that's a lot of points. So you will probably try to do, of course you have to do the best with the pieces that you can actually draft, but I'm feeling that there's not a lot of variability, so I don't see myself going back and playing it that many times. I like the core puzzle, I enjoyed that, but for me, Azul, especially Queen's Garden, the new one, gives me more of a challenging puzzle every time I play it.
Yeah, I've thought like, why do I like, for example, Azul better than Vivid? And some of the things for me is the interaction with the other players, especially in original Azul. You can really see like, you need this, For me, it's a little like 50-50. What kind of things that I take, then I will try to do the things that works for you. In this game, I feel like in every time that I've played, I've thought, okay, what's the best for me?
Yeah.
I really don't pay very much attention to what is best for you. And if I can do both, of course, but if I have the choice between doing a link, then I will do that if I have the possibility. The only thing, as we said, if I see you getting a lot of action tiles, I don't know if it's the action tiles, if you get it,
yes.
Then I might like try to force you to take one other if I don't need that myself to like clog you up with stuff. So for me, some of the, I don't know, lack of interaction might be why I think it feels less replayable for me.
Oh yeah, because when you have the other players to play off, then and even though you have the same puzzle, you will end up doing different things because you have that interaction. There is interaction here, but for me it's also less interesting than in Azul. I think for me it's a fine game. It's a game I have enjoyed playing, but not one I see a need to own. I do like it, but I don't love it. So for me it's going to be a 6.
I agree. 6 from me as well.
Okay.
So that was vivid.
Next up we have Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle. And you might think, why are you reviewing such an old, cranky game? It's like 4 years old.
It's from October, I don't know.
It's actually like 4 years old. And the reason is basically we have been wanting to play it, and the OP sent it to us when they sent us Cuphead and some other games as well.
Yes.
So it's a review copy, and we have actually played through the whole of it. We have expansions we haven't played, but we have played through the 7 games in this one. So this is a family style deck building game, one I have heard so much good about, mostly from families who love Harry Potter, and I think you should love Harry Potter to enjoy this game. And I do enjoy some Harry Potter pottering from now and then. Not like a big fanboy of pottering, but I do like some pottering from time to time.
From time to time, yes.
It's a very straightforward deck building game. You'll be playing cards, getting attacks to attack different villains, shoot them in the face with your wand, saying wah wah. I don't know if that's something you say in Harry Pottering land, but I will maybe do it wah wah. And I will say you lose 1 damage or you take a damage, and I will play my cards, get money to buy new cards to clock up my deck because I can't get rid of any single card from my deck in this game. And then I will try to kill all the villains because before they take over all of the places that we don't want them to take over, because then we lose.
Yes, like I don't know what that was, but okay.
It was an explanation of the game, straightforward, making sense like it always does.
Yes, I have some things that I enjoy in this game.
Yes.
I think the Harry Potter universe is a cool universe to put a game in.
Yes.
I think it's very thematic, like you have a lot of cards with familiar spells and characters and items in it, which I really enjoy. So if you're a Harry Potter fan, you can see like, oh, I have this now, and this does this and stuff. And also the villains are cool, and you have some
It's
ability.
co-op.
Yeah, it's co-op. So it's a balance between getting money to buy new cards for your deck, but also not die, which is a little hard, especially in the beginning. You can take a lot of damage and like, wow, I died. And not get like the place that the villains are trying to get control, because then the game gets harder.
Yes.
And also try to actually win the game. So
by killing all the villains, by saying "bah" in their face.
So I liked it.
Yeah.
So it has some negative points. Like really,
quite a few.
The number one like negative point for me is how you're not thinning out your deck.
Yes.
Which is a mechanism in deck builder games that I really enjoy, which is not in this game. The other thing that I really don't like is how the market is very standstill sometimes, because you can't really switch them out. So if we're at the like end of a round and I have a lot of money and there's only cheap weak cards, then money is worth nothing to me, which is really frustrating.
I think that is also the cool. That also happens in many other deck builders, but you feel it a bit more here. Also feels like that a bit earlier, so you kind of feel like you had to buy a card to maybe get a better card you can add to your deck. Because at the end of like Dominion, I don't want to buy the gold coins. I want to buy the point cards.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, but then you say like the money stops being useful, as you say, which is different here. I think that you have to know that this is a quite lucky game. You have to. We played 9 times to beat the 7 scenarios. Yes. 9 or 10 times, I don't remember, because we won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we lost. No, we won 1, 2, 3, 4, then we lost 5, then we won 5, then we won 6, then we lost 6. I don't know, but we played 7 of them. So everything I'm going to say now sounds like I might not like the game, but we did like the game enough to play it 9 times.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like an ambivalent thing where I kind of like it and I kind of don't like it. I enjoy it for what it is. I enjoy it for being a family-style deck building in the Harry Potter world, which is a fantastic universe. So I really enjoy it for that. I think for families that like Harry Potter, I know families who have basically read the first book, then play the first game, read the second book, then play the second game, because you will get spoilers if you play them without having seen the films or read the books.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of like a great like companion to Harry Potter, so you can like, oh, do you want to get into board games? If you know people who like Harry Potter and don't play too many board games, you can get them this game because it's a great addition to that. It is a bit lucky, and it has, as you said, most of the things you said is the luck part. You can't thin your deck, it's hard to get the cards you need. What comes out is random, and the further into the game you get, you're going to make that market deck bigger and bigger and bigger, and getting harder and harder to get the cards that you need. The villains that comes up, some of those combinations in the beginning, you can basically flip them up and say, oh, we lost, and you can begin over again, because some of those combinations are almost impossible to get through. I'm not gonna spoil anything about it, but the last game in the last like scenario is horrible.
Yeah.
It is extremely horrible, and that is sad when you have like, you should escalate and be like a big finale, and it feels kind of like a big finale because it makes sense that the things that happens in it, but it is a horrible, like, if you hate the luck in the first 6 games, just wait for the 7th one. And it also took 2 or 0.5 the time of all of the other scenarios because of that element. Not going to go any more into what it is, so just know it if you don't like luck in games. So for me, I think it is I enjoyed my time with it. Some part of me, that's what I said, like, it's kind of two-sided. Some part of me want to go back and actually play the expansions, and some part of me want to never play it again.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you have to see that this game is not for me personally. It could have been. I'm not like against family games. Some family games I think is really enjoyable, but for me this was too lucky and felt, not interesting enough all of the time. I think that some of these scenarios I thought like, oh, now this is fun, and we got like some things flowing in. Oh, we almost died. Then again, some other scenarios were really boring and draggy, especially the last one was very much a letdown. So for me, I have to like separate that experience and think, okay, but I am not a family.
I am family.
I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan either, and I'm going to
tiny Harry Potter
compare this game to all the other deck builders that we have played. So I give more critique than maybe this game should get, because I am not the what do you call it? Target
audience.
Audience for this game.
So what do you want to rate it?
I want to rate it a 6. It's a little above average, and I'm basically I don't feel the need for playing this ever again. But that doesn't mean it is a bad game. It means that it's just better for someone else than me.
I had mostly fun while playing it, and I enjoyed most of my time with it. And I have more of a need to play the expansions, I think, but it's more of that kind of, I want to just sit down and have fun with the game. I don't want to play this for like, oh, this is going to be interesting to see what happens now. It's more like, okay, it's probably fun. What did they add in this one? What happened here? And seeing that evolving in that is what I want to do. I'm going to give it a 6 as well. It's a fun game, not one I love, but I had fun playing it.
Yes.
So now you might think you're used to all the games being here, but there's actually one more game. And you might think it's because it's so big that it's not on screen. It's not.
What?
It's not that big.
It's so small.
It's Railroad Ink Challenge,
Yes.
Railroad Ink Challenge, and a bunch of these small expansions for Railroad Ink that looks like this. I'm not going to have them placed like this for long, just so you can see them. Expansion stuff, because Railroad Ink, then we enjoyed the game, but we ended up culling it.
Yes, we did. I wanted to keep it.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
But I was just like, it's fine.
Okay. I thought usually, yeah, that makes sense. It doesn't, I just feel like if we did cull something, it was not because you wanted to keep it, because you wanted to cull almost everything. So Railroad Ink, we enjoyed. One of the things we talked about then was the lack of interaction.
Yeah. Absolutely, because this is a roll and write game, and you basically hide everything you're rolling and writing. No, rolling is everyone can see that because you're writing the same stuff.
Yes.
But everything you're writing, you are hiding behind a screen, and it really doesn't matter to me what you do because we have nothing to do with each other.
Never.
I'm just like playing for optimizing the puzzle and optimizing the dice and drawing routes basically. So you're connecting railroads and roads. And you're trying to build like the longest network and trying to go with the most exits.
Yeah, there's many different ways to score basically. So you try to score the best way possible.
Yeah.
So what are the changes for Ink Challenge?
You're getting in all of these. There's a mini expansion.
Yeah.
And it was in the original ones as well. But here you have some like what do you call it? Goal cards.
Yeah, you have the challenge basically, challenge
cards,
part of the game. Yeah. Which
are like common goals for all to fight for.
Fight to the death!
So the first one who completes it get 4 points, the next person who completes it get 2 points, and the rest, if they complete it, get 1 point. And there's usually 3 in a game, and you're trying to then build your strategy towards those goals and be the first ones to complete it. So then it actually matters to me what you're doing, even though I can't see it. I'm thinking, I hope you don't do this before I do it. Yeah,
I enjoy that. I like it. Added like that little bit of racing feeling, trying to say, and those points. Even though you end up with quite a few points, if you get 12 points from them and I get like 6, it's a big difference. So it's not a huge part of the game, but it adds a tiny bit of the game. Also, there are buildings on this. I don't think there was buildings on the last one, where you have a house that gives you just points. You have a station building that gets you to build one of these special tiles again, or one more of the special tiles, and you have factories that makes you copy the one of the dice. So that also adds to the game.
Yeah, that's
those
really
are
nice.
The big changes, and as always, like if you ask us, which one should you get? Really doesn't matter, they are the same. You can read up on the different expansions that are in them, because there are 2 expansions in each of them. And then
if you are playing with color deficient people, you should get this one, because this is very hard for color deficient people to see the difference between orange and green. Yeah, so blue and yellow is much easier to see.
I didn't know. We learned something every day. And then we got like, these are review copies, and we got like all these crazy expansion stuff. And these expansions, like, we haven't gotten to play with all of them, because then we would have to play the game like 25 times or something like that. Because this is one thing I think is really weird with this game, which I always thought was weird, but even weirder now when you have all of these different expansions, is because the rules basically tells you to play with one expansion. And that expansion might be a die. And this die doesn't change up the game too much. So we cheated.
Yeah.
So we played with 2 and even up to 3 expansions at a time. Basically took expansions that had the same amount of turns or rounds for the game. And I don't really see a reason why you shouldn't do that, because maybe they haven't play tested it like that. So that's probably the reason. So it might not be balanced, but it's the same for all the players. And we thought it was really fun to play with more expansions at the same time, because if you play the game and you add like this Tetris expansion from the arcade expansion pack, then it really changes the game very, very little. And it doesn't really add almost anything. But when you add that and add more to it, I thought this added enough to be fun. But as a whole, we're going to play with the Tetris expansion. It's not called that because you can't call it that. Then it would not be that interesting. But some of them do change the game. Like you have, for example, the Eldritch one. And we played with this.
Oh yeah, this makes you basically connect like portals and these what do you call it, rituals to your network, and you don't want that to be connected to your regular network because then it takes over the whole network and you basically lose the scoring. So if you can separate those two networks, you get like what do you call it, Cthulhu scoring as well.
Yes, so I really enjoy like when I saw that Eldritch. That's weird, and you read the rules for the others. We didn't get to play them, and it sound like they are really fun. Like all of these exchange. And one thing I do like this one, we played with this by itself, and this one actually changed the game quite a bit.
Yes.
So some of them will change the game. I would not play with this and like 4 others.
Oh yeah,
but
you
some
have
of
to,
them,
like, see.
but some of them are so simple,
I
basically,
agree.
to be able to play with more at the same time. You also have an expansion called the Engineer expansion pack, which you can play with at the same time as you play any other expansion, as it's combined with any expansion, which I already think you can do with most expansions. But this is kind of, you will exchange some of the white dice you use normally in the game. And you can also exchange things you can remove and remodel and do different wonky stuff throughout the game. The biggest changing expansion, I think, would be this one.
Yeah, the Underground expansion was really fun to play with. Then you have 2 player boards, one above ground, which is completely normal, and then the underground, which you're building, what do you call it, these pipes.
It's a pipeline or water pipes, I'm guessing.
A tube or underground, rail,
Yeah.
which you want to match stations above ground and underground, so you get like a hub station which adds to your scoring, and you want to build like a very long pipe rail because that gives you a lot of points. But if you build stations above your pipe, you're going to destroy the pipe, which gives you negative points. So I really liked how you played then 14 rounds instead of 7, which prolongs the game, but I really enjoyed that expansion.
Yes, it's a longer game. It took us like an hour to play it with that expansion, 14 rounds. But I, like, when we played Railroad Inc., I thought it was fine. When we played this with the expansions, I think it's a really fun game.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think, like, we still have 10 or 12 or 15 or 60 million expansions to try out. The ones we have played are really fun. I think, like, for example, if you get this, you have 4 different expansions that will change up the game quite a lot. I felt like the ones we played in the arcade did not change up the game that much.
No, that was the least fun of the ones that we've tried.
But it was fun as like an add-on. So if you want to buy just one, I don't think you should buy this. But if you want to cheat and play, I don't really usually play with house rules, but I like...
The weather as well was really cool. The Sky expansion, because you had 2 types of weather, and if they didn't touch it... Oh, 3, yeah. If they didn't touch each other, then you potentially could score a lot of points. But if you touched those 2 together, they were 0 points, so... a little more challenge there. So a lot of cool stuff added with these expansions. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. So do you want to keep it as well?
Oh yeah, I really want to keep it. It's so small boxes to keep though, and it's very easy to get played with a lot of players, which I really enjoy.
I think what we will do is to take out the insert of both of them and then just place all the basic stuff in one, all the player boards, and play all the dice and rules in another one, because
that was smart.
It's keep all of these around is just going to lose them.
They're so cute.
But we are going to lose them, so it's better to have them in the boxes.
Yes.
So yeah, that is Railroad Inc. Challenge. What do you want to rate this?
7.5. I think it's a really solid game.
7.5 for me as well. One I want to keep. I want to play the other expansions. Really, like, if you like Railroad Inc. like me, I like this better with the additions of it, and all of the expansions make the game even more fun.
Yes.
So that is the end of another review. If you are still here and you have not subscribed, you can do so now by
clicking the subscribe button. It's fast and it's fun and it's free and it makes us happy like this. And if you want to do something that's not free, you can
go to patreon.com/boardgamingramblings and support us over there. And that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Sunniva.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye bye.